Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How we doing? I am just gonna check that everything's running alright with you guys. So if you can let me know in the chat, how is the sound? I see a lot of people weren't ready for that intro. How we doing? So I'm just waiting for you guys to let me know everything's all good with the sound before I crack on. So I'm assuming the sound's all good. If you can let us know in the chat, we'll just crack on anyway. Sounds good. Slightly quiet. Slightly quiet, right? Okay. I'm just going to turn us up a little bit. Hopefully.
Is that a little bit better?
How's that? We have just sorted that out. So, if you can hear us, welcome to episode 1 of the Raptor podcast, where in today's episode, what we're doing?
Well, we're going to tell you a little bit about how we got out here, first of all. How we escaped the UK lockdown. And we're also going to break down the Blaydes and Derek Lewis card coming up this weekend.
Awesome. So, how you doing? How's it feel to be in Las Vegas finally?
Pretty damn good, to be fair, considering we haven't been here since March. Since then, a lot's happened with the coronavirus, and, we had a lot of restrictions on getting out to places, and took a bit of a stop, but now we're back, and it feels good.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to get out here at all for next year or so.
Yeah.
Like we were in Vegas covering Fury Wilder 3, Joanna Jacek and Zhang Weili, which is probably like the best fight I've ever seen live.
Romero Adesanya was the main fight on that card as well, which after the Zhang Weili and Joanna fight was pretty disappointing.
Yeah, it was, man. It was really disappointing. But we left like on the 11th of March, so we landed in the UK like right on lockdown. So that was a bit weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, literally like a week later, it was just, that was it.
Yeah.
It was mad.
So we somehow didn't get to go to Fight Island 1. And that was such a bummer because it was such MMA history. But we did manage to get out to Fight Island 2, as I'm sure everybody on this channel is aware of. And when we got back from Fight Island, we had to do a 2-week quarantine, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we found out that when we were coming out of lockdown, we were going into another lockdown, a national lockdown. So we thought we weren't going to be able to do anything until next year, February. But we managed to fly out just in time before the lockdown started. And we've managed to somehow get to Las Vegas during the middle of a pandemic, the craziest of elections. I mean, you can't write the stuff that's happening in America at the moment. It's wild. And to do that, we had to go to Bermuda for 2 weeks, didn't we?
Yeah. I remember the week before we came out, Wad rang me on like the Wednesday night, and he was like, "Oh, we might be flying to Bermuda on Friday." And
Wad's our manager.
Wad's our manager, and he this was all kind of talks before, and then on the Wednesday night, Wad rang me. He said, "We're going to try and get you out to Bermuda on the Friday, so you got to go down to London and get a COVID test."
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, basically that's how it started. And then on the Thursday, so the next day after that, we drove down to London. We both got a COVID test, and we paid extra money to get a quick turnaround. So for about 12 hours, we kind of had our fingers crossed that we got a negative and we could actually go anyway.
Yeah, we basically, the way it works out in Bermuda is that you have to have a COVID test 72 hours before you fly. You've got to get the results in that time. You've got to send them over to Bermuda. They've got to accept that, and then they've got to send you a what's it called? A travel authorization.
Yeah, authorization certificate.
Yeah. So we got that, and we got it 20 minutes before the gate was closing. Ugh, it was stressful, but we made it, and we're here, so that's all good. But we're just going to give you a little breakdown now of what is going to be coming up in this podcast. So we're going to be talking to you guys as well a lot. So if you've got any questions, chuck them into the chat. We'll answer them. We'll tell you what we think or what you want to know, if we know it. And then we'll be talking about a few other things, and it'll all be leading up to us looking at who's on the card for the Curtis Blaydes and Derek Lewis fight. So within that, what we're going to do is we'll look at all the fights, we'll speak to you about them, basically, this is our day where we're supposed to be doing research, right? Obviously, we've got media day, we've got weigh-ins. It's good to do a little bit of research. But we thought, why not chuck it into a podcast format, and you guys can join us on the research as well. So I think it'll be quite fun. We've got some cool things lined up for that. So
the thing is as well, this fight week, it's there's not as much going on, really, is there?
There's not that much going on because of COVID. So all the fighters are in their own bubble in Vegas. They can't leave that bubble. They have to get tested every 2 days and have their temperature checked every day, I believe. So even the media days, they're not even doing the media days. They're all just online, virtual media, which is a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a bummer. So we'll just be trying to do other things in and around that, as much fight related as possible. So that should be cool. And Aaron, it is not 3:30 a.m. here. It's actually 7:30 in the afternoon, and we have got some pumpkin spice lattes on their way from...
Getting that festive spirit.
Yeah, it's hard to get in that festive spirit out of here. Yes, Mr. Lee, maybe it will. It probably won't, but maybe it will. Hopefully we can help you on your little bets. Yeah,
because we're going to be looking at their previous fights, their record, and see how they're going to face up against their upcoming opponent.
Definitely.
So yeah, it should do, hopefully.
So before we get into that, McGregor Poirier.
Oh man, cannot wait for that. And it's going to be on the next Fight Island, right?
It is, yes. Yeah. Fight Island 3, McGregor and Dustin Poirier. And I saw on the Mac Life, shout out to the Mac Life, they posted some information regarding what's going to be happening at this Fight Island, and it's going to be Fight Island with fans.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be weird, man.
I think it will be weird, even though, like, most of the events we've covered are with a crowd. I think because now for so long there hasn't been one, it will be weird having one back.
Yeah, it's going to be really weird, and I do believe, I've heard some things about how it's going to go down, and I do believe that all the media, all the fighters, everybody is still going to be cornered off from the fans. And it might be something like, and you heard this here first, something like an ice arena is what I was debating in my head, is like an ice hockey arena, sorry. You know how they have the glass up on the side? Yeah. I thought that made a bit of sense, because when you go into shops or anywhere now, the solution to COVID is chuck a bit of glass in between.
Even in the casinos in Vegas, when you go to the roulette tables, every person's got a sheet of plastic between them. It's all separated off now by plastic or glass. So
You've been to the roulette?
Yeah, I went yesterday. You lost all your money. Well, actually, no. Mark Goddard lost all your money.
Yeah, that's it. Mark Goddard lost all my money. So how about this for Mark Goddard doing me over once again? So we went for a meal yesterday at a place called, what's that place called? Summit Tom's. Anyway,
Tom's Urban.
Tom's Urban. You may have been there before because it's on the strip. It's quite well known. Anyway, Mark ended up giving me some cash for the meal, and I just paid for it on my card. Then Mark decided to used my cash in a roulette. And he basically put, what was it? He put it was 20 in, all on red. We did get it on footage as well, and he did me over. So he took me for a drink straight after.
Yeah, he bought us a beer,
Which
to make up for it. So
I'm gonna have to try that trick on somebody next time they take me for a meal in Vegas. But yeah, the McGregor Poirier card. What we were getting at was fans in the during the whole event, and I think there's gonna be like pool parties, concerts. To be fair, when we were there for the Khabib and Dustin fight, no.
Oh no,
Habib September 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We were there for that fight, and they did like a whole, like Abu Dhabi seemed to love the UFC. They all turned the whole city into UFC land. It's crazy the effort they put in, and they did something called the Abu Dhabi Showdown. And the Abu Dhabi Showdown was basically a UFC event where there's parties. I think they had the Red Hot Chili Peppers playing.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, I remember that. But it was boiling hot apparently in the crowd. So.
Yeah, actually that made it really shit, because it was 54 degrees or something.
Yeah.
It was mad. And at night time, that doesn't change. You think you're in a desert, I heard that before I travelled to deserts, that at night time deserts get cold. Not in Abu Dhabi. It was red hot. Me and Jamie went for a beer, and we couldn't even make it to the bar. We had to walk there. We couldn't even make it. We ended up running to the sea, assuming the sea was cold, and the sea was like a hot tub. We just couldn't get away from the heat at Khabib.
It was nuts. It was heat I've never experienced in my life, and it wasn't like a dry heat either. It was really humid. So you walk about 10-20 yards up the road, like we did on the way to the bar, and you're just drenched in sweat. Yeah. So it's not nice at all.
Especially if your sweat smells like Jamie.
Everyone smells every now and again.
So yeah, just to answer a few of your questions, yes, this is live. We are live. And thank you. I don't know how you say your name, Oosli. Is it Oosli? Appreciate your content from Fight Island. About to take over the game now. You're coming for fights in Vegas. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. This one's going to be quite cool. We may have lined up some cool stuff for you guys in terms of some content for next week. We might be going to see Sean O'Malley down in Arizona. Maybe do a little behind the scenes video of his podcast, the Sugar Timbo Show. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. But we've been doing some other stuff as well, right? Like we've been stuck in Bermuda with not 1,000,001 things to be doing. So we've been trying to like come up with some of our own stuff to do, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, we were looking back at some old footage that we'd had. I don't know if you ever checked out the Dan Hardy meets Masvidal video, but we pulled out some clips from there and popped them on the channel, just to revisit some because we've got so much good stuff that we're trying to push. So yeah, we were doing that and creating some kind of highlight videos for some of the fights as well, for Figueiredo, in fact.
Yeah. We'll see if we can play you that. Actually, it didn't get many views, did it? But we during the lead up to that fight, we both absolutely love Figueiredo, man.
He's like he could be a Bond villain or like a villain in any kind of film or western or something. He's just badass. He's got such a cool style about his fighting. He's so aggressive. Like he's just such a cool fighter.
Good pick for an upset. Lewis. Sorry, I was just on DraftKings. But can you guys tell me what DraftKings is? Because I'm seeing it everywhere and I'm seeing it trending at all over the place. Obviously, it's a sponsor with the UFC, but I don't exactly know what it's doing. There's a picture of Dhabi. I'm not sure if this is gonna be working. Right, okay, there we go. That's the problem. So I'm gonna show you a little something. This is Figueiredo. Let me just cut that off for a second. So we're trying out a few different things here, right? So I'm not sure exactly if this is working or not. Figueiredo video. So this should be the Figueiredo video coming up, not the Dhabi video, which is weird. 1 second.
And the fight at the weekend as well, Figueiredo Perez. I mean, people were, I think, because it was his first defence as well. Maybe he had a lot of doubters, but I think he's kind of proved now that he's a serious champion and he's very tough to beat. And he's just been announced with Moreno as well for UFC 256.
We'll be here for that. We'll be able to cover that as well.
So just to let you know, we are covering all of the events up until the end of the year now. So that includes Blaydes, Lewis this weekend. The one next weekend.
We've got more, man. The best one is Hamzat and
Leon Edwards. Yeah,
mate, that card is just.
That could be a numbered event. I think.
Should be a numbered event.
Yeah,
it's wild, absolutely wild. But here, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you one of the little videos we were doing, because why not? All good to try and figure out how to use this software as well a little bit better, because we will be coming to you live from the weigh-ins, live from all of the fight days, with all the post-fight interviews, with some commentary from me. But yeah, let's show you this. Let's see how this does. So that was our video. Jamie, you made that, didn't you?
Yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I just wanted to make something to reflect his fighting style and his kind of character as well. And I don't know if you've checked out the Journey for Gold videos that we've done on the channel, but they're very kind of grindhouse style, a style that I think fits with fighting and combat sports pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah, it does, man. It suits anything that's badass.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll be making plenty more of them.
Yeah.
For if you guys got any suggestions on who we could make one on, then definitely happy to do that.
Yeah, let's get some suggestions in from you guys for another one of these little videos. I actually we put it out because I was assuming Figueiredo is going to get the win, We thought it'd be cool to make a little video like this, get it on YouTube, and see what happens. And it ended up just getting like 1,000 views, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which was, it is what it is. But I don't know what I expected, to be fair.
I think something like the Journey for Gold one, something a bit more long format would probably do in that style as well. And on the Journey for Gold, Dan narrates it as well, which
does.
Certainly adds a lot to it.
All of these Journey for Gold, they're underrated, man. They're some of the lowest stuff that we've got views wise on the channel. We've got long format stuff with Dan narrating, like Jamie said. We've got history of weight classes, all in a similar format to this, but instead of red, it's a yellow theme, like a proper grindhouse style, which is fun. So shall we have a look at this card coming up?
Yeah. Besides the main event and the co-main event, there's not, well, in my opinion, it's not the most exciting card, but usually in the past we've learnt that sometimes the most unexpected cards are usually some of the best cards. So never say never, really.
That's true. It is true. Yeah, everybody was saying that the Holly Holm and Aldana, like during the whole of that build-up, everyone was just trashing that card, man. They were just like, this is trash, this is rubbish card, trash card. And that ended up being one of the best cards of the year.
Yeah.
Probably. It's up there, and maybe top 10. Definitely top 5 of the best UFC fight nights this year.
And same with the Sanhagen and Marias card as well. That was pretty good. Enjoyed that a lot.
That was good, man. That was really good. So let's have a little look at who's fighting on this card. Do you want to give everybody the rundown on the whole of who's fighting on the prelim, starting from top to bottom, whilst I just pick these coffees up at the door?
No worries. So, the Derek Lewis and Curtis Blaydes fight night. To kick us off on the prelims, we have Luke Sanders versus Joseph Maness. Sorry, Nate Maness. On the UFC website it says Joseph, but his name's actually Nate. Well, it could be Joseph, maybe middle name. But, so yeah. Nate Maness against Luke Sanders is our first fight on the prelims. And
I have got our coffees. Right. So, Luke Saunders, Joseph Maness. Then we kick things off with right. You're gonna love our pronunciations. I think they're non-existent, to be honest. We get these terribly wrong. So
good luck.
Su Mudajariji. Oh my god. Sue. All right, we'll just call him Sue. So Sue is fighting Malcolm Gordon, right? Then we've got Jonathan Pierce fighting Kai Kamaka, right? I think this might be fight of the night. Like a fight nobody's talking about that I think might have fireworks. I'm going to go for this one. Jonathan Pierce, Kai Kamaka. Then we've got Gina Mazzany against Rachel Ostovich. It's a good job I know how to say that. Then we've got Martin Day against Anderson Dos Santos. Ashley Evans Smith against Norma Dumont Viana. So that leads us right up to the main card. So before we get into the main card, let's have a little look at who these two are. So we have got Luke Saunders. Now, I to be honest, I didn't know who Luke was, and I just had to have a little check, and I actually found out he's dating Becky Lynch, he was dating Becky Lynch, the wrestler. I believe she's an Irish, like a full on, like the proper wrestling. I'm not into my wrestling, like that type of wrestling. But, so Luke's actually on 3 wins and 3 losses in the UFC, which I think is quite interesting. So he's 50-50 really in the UFC.
And to be honest, Nate Maness looks pretty good. It's his, well, he had a fight against Ray Borg cancelled. I think that was going to be his first fight in the UFC. I assume so. So this will be his actual first appearance in the UFC against Luke.
Nah, this is his second fight in the UFC.
Oh, sorry, yeah, his first fight against Johnny Munoz.
That was a good fight.
Yeah.
That ended up being a decision. And then he had the Ray Borg fight, which got cancelled, and that got cancelled at the Boar.
But I've noticed, looking through a lot of these fighters' records between March and now, there's a lot of cancelled fights, and I'm sure you can assume why. But there's a lot of people who have had cancelled fights.
Yeah, there is. So it says on the UFC website Joseph Maness, but everywhere I look elsewhere it's calling him Nate Maness. Now, I've never had Joseph to be nicknamed as a Nate. But he's on a 1-fight win streak. He's got 4 wins by knockout, 2 wins by submission.
Yeah, he's actually, what's his record? 12-1, which is pretty damn good. Yeah.
So this could be quite an interesting fight. I'm not really too sure who I've got for this. I think based on the stats so far that we've seen, I think I'm going to go with Nate Maness on this. This should be a real good card. Let's have a look at the others. So actually, I want to jump straight into this one, because this is probably one of the weirdest and most interesting for the fact that it's so weird. Fights on the card. So we got Gina Mazzany against Rachel Ostovich. Now, both of these girls haven't got the greatest records in the UFC. Like, the weirdest by far, in my opinion, is Gina. Like, both of these fighters came up on tough. So you've got Gina Mazzany. She came up in tough 18, which was Ronda against Tate. So she actually lost her first fight in the Ultimate Fighter to Juliana Pena, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she obviously fought someone pretty decent there, so fair play. Then she had a fight in Alaska FC, and she won that fight. Then she came back to the UFC. She lost against Sarah McMahon. Then she won her first UFC fight against Yan Wu. Then she lost to Lena Landsberg, Macy Chiasson. Then she got cut from the UFC and she fought in KOTC Golden Fights. She won that fight. Then she came back to the UFC, lost that fight against Julia Alvia. So she's won 1 fight in the UFC and lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Gina Mazzany has won 1 fight in the UFC and lost 5. Now, I think that's crazy.
So do you think
I'm really surprised, to be honest, that she's actually in the UFC. It must be just to fill out the women's division, and they must not have too much to choose from, because you've also got Rachel Ostovich.
Yeah. Do you think, so for one of these, whoever loses might get the cut?
I do think that, but I don't know anything behind the scenes like that, really. So, but I'd assume, based on these records, that this is a survival fight. So let's have a look at Rachel Ostovich. Yeah.
Her last fight was against Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah, and this is her to be honest, this is her only proper fight in the UFC was against Paige Van Zandt. Like, she hasn't had like a legit proper UFC fight, and apart from the Paige Van Zandt one, and she lost that due to armbar in the second round. But if we look back at her career, her last win was in the Ultimate Fighter. I think that was season 26, New World Champion.
Yeah.
Where I think that was for the whole division, wasn't it? I can't remember. I'd have to check.
She won by armbar in that one.
She did, but she lost a unanimous decision, and then in the finale lost a rear naked choke. So she's got 2 wins in the UFC, and both wins were in tough. So I don't really know what that says, apart from these girls don't seem to have the greatest records. So in my opinion, I think looking at these stats, so we've got, let's have a look at this stats page. Significant strikes. So we've got Gina on the left, Rachel on the right. So KO. So no KO. So we've got 40%. So that's interesting. So Rachel's not won by knockout, but she's won only by submission and one decision. So her 2 wins are there, split 50-50. Both of them from tough as well. I don't know, man. It might. I don't. This is one fight that I.
But then, if you look at that, her significant strike, they're not that much difference in significant strike. So even though she, Mazzany's got the KO win, they still look pretty even on the stand-up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do. I do know what you mean. And it's a fair point, but considering, you know, how poor these women's accolades are in this fight, not in women's MMA, because I absolutely love women's MMA, but just, it's obviously just this fight, I don't know what to expect from it. I really don't. I think this was probably going to end up being a decision, or Rachel's going to win by submission. I can't see it standing on the feet for too long, especially as Rachel's found comfort in getting a one finish via submission. So yeah, I think Rachel could be a good underdog. She is a good grappler, just from Hawaii as well. And they seem to have some good heart out there in Hawaii. Talking about another fighter from Hawaii, let's have a look at Kamaka. Jesus. So this is right. I've put this third. Kai Kamaka the third, indeed. Yes, I've put this down in my opinion, as possible fight of the night. Last time Kai fought, we were there. We were there for, I believe it was. Oh no, we weren't there for that.
Which one's that? Sorry.
We were. It was for Cormier and Stipe 3. We weren't there for Ireland. Yeah.
That was the first fight Ireland. We were there for Stipe Cormier 2.
Yeah. But Kai, man, this guy is seriously good. He's such a scrapper. Like, his last fight was who was his last fight against? I forgot the guy's name.
Sick.
Let's just have a little look at that.
His last fight was against Tony Kelly.
That's it, Tony Kelly. Everyone knows Tony Kelly, so you can imagine what type of fight that was. I think this is going to be a similar fight. Jonathan Pierce. Right, let me actually click on this. So we got Jonathan Pierce and Kai Kamaka. Jeez, every single time. Kai Kamaka. Right. Jonathan's actually coming out of Dana White's Contender Series. And this guy's got a lot of heart. He's also a big scrapper, so we got scrapper v scrapper here. And if you watch Dana White's Contender Series, you know that 80% of the possibility, if you're getting signed, is because you can finish fights, you're a scrapper. That's all he asked in that series, is for you to go out there and fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he doesn't like too much wrestling, doesn't like safe rounds. He wants to see
Entertaining fighters.
Yeah,
that's what you want.
It is.
Mm.
And Jonathan Pearce is that guy. So,
and he's fighting out of the MMA lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, they've got a good team as well. Casey Kenny,
yeah. Cannoneer. And Kyler Matrix Phillips as well.
Yes, I forgot about that dude.
So, yeah, they've got a lot of good talent coming out of the MMA lab at the minute.
Let's have a little look at him then. So this is Jonathan Pearce coming out of the MMA lab. Wow. So we actually, O'Malley does some occasional work at the MMA lab as well. Apparently Casey Kenny spars with Jared Cannonier as well.
Oh my god.
So this guy's on a 5-fight win streak, 7 by knockout, 1 by submission. And he's going to be fighting Kai Kamaka. This reminds me a little bit of I think this fight's going to be a little bit, not just because of the name, but Brandon Royval and Kai Kara Friends kind of fight.
I know when I actually looked at this fight earlier, that like you said, it was a little bit probably because of the name, but yeah, I know what you mean. That fight came into my head.
Yeah.
For sure. And that was a
certainly
great
by
fight.
styles of fighting. That's going to be really, really good. So what else has he got here? Johnson City. I have no idea where that is, but that's his hometown, Johnson City in the United States. So actually, so he's coming off a loss against Joe Lauzon. That's interesting.
Yeah, and lost ground and pound round 1 as well.
2019 though. So this is his first COVID fight. And I think the MMA lab have done a lot of work with their team since that time.
Well, if you look at, who's been coming out there at the minute and like what kind of performances they've been putting in, surely we could expect something or similar to that from Pearce.
Yeah, you'd expect so. Or you'd hope so at least. But do you know what? I've got my money on Kai. He's not even got much stats here. I think that's only because he's obviously had 1 fight in the UFC. First fight with Tony Kelly. That's pretty fucking cool. So, but I mean, that's all you can. Obviously, he's got other fights. I haven't gone back and watched them though. Just seeing if there's anyone of note on there. Yeah, no. I thought that said Kevin Holland, but then it said Kevin Nativad. I don't know who that is. It's the Kevin Holland fight off, right?
Yeah, Kevin Holland pulled out, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I remember seeing on his Instagram something similar, something of that nature. Let me just cut back to this for a sec. So, where are we right now on this card?
Well, we're up to we jumped ahead.
Yeah, we can jump around. This Martin Day Anderson Dos Santos fight. I think these guys are. Well, I think Anderson is on a losing streak, and Martin Day.
I don't think Kevin Holland has pulled out. Maybe I was wrong about that.
Has he not? Because he went
it's still on. And 12 hours ago, the poster got released.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Okay. So, I tell you why my brain went down that road is because I was on Kevin Holland's Instagram and he was saying that the fight's been cancelled, and he was going to all the shops buying like stupid amounts of sweets and fatty foods, pizzas, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, there hasn't been. Well.
What do you guys know about that? Do you guys know that?
There's nothing that's come up in latest news anyway about that. The last thing on here is that the poster's dropped, and it's a pretty cool poster as well.
That's cool.
What do you think to that fight? Well, if you know.
Sheesh. I think Kevin Holland, man. I really like Kevin Holland.
I do like Jack though. I always feel like Jack's always a bit of an underdog.
Yeah, he
but
is.
I think he's so like jittery with his style, and I don't think he's very like an unexpected kind of style. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do.
So I like Jack. I think he's got it in the bag, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Jack's all right. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe he will. Maybe he is just too safe of a fighter to not lose that.
Nice dude as well. When we were with him in Copenhagen last year, we made some content with him. Really nice guy.
We did. So let's have a look at the last fight on the prelims, which is Ashley Evans-Smith against Norma Dermont Viana. So I think we all know, well, we definitely do, because we were supposed to be going. Ashley Evans-Smith was going to be fighting Molly McCann on UFC London.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it got cancelled. Obviously, it got cancelled in fight week. It got cancelled in fight week. I don't know, Tuesday I think it was when we found out that the whole fight was off.
Mm-hmm.
UFC London is off 2 days into fight week. I don't know any card that's been cancelled like that. That was a proper bummer, man. Ashley Evans-Smith, I think she flew out and got stuck somewhere as well, from what I can remember. But Ashley Evans-Smith is an interesting one. Do you know, I don't know if she's done this yet, but she was gonna release a podcast talking about fighters and their sex lives.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it would. I think it would make it. Well, she seems to be just going. I don't really know, to be honest. So that's why I'm stuttering, but not because of the subject. But oh shit, man! Look what I forgot.
Oh yeah. Pumpkin coffee.
Doing.
Nice. Thanks. Oh no.
Yeah,
Brand
thank you.
related.
Uber Eats. I don't know what people think to this, but there used to be the old thing where if you lost 3 fights, you were at the UFC.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, because I think it can be down to loads of things, like who they've faced, and if they've had like 3 fights that have been really close, like unanimous like split decisions or whatever, then can't, you know what I mean, there's an argument for them to, fight again, get another chance. So yeah,
Definitely. You look at somebody like Masvidal's record, where
if someone's been like sparked out like 3 times in a row, you know what I mean, yeah, probably there's consideration. But
I don't think that, well, obviously it's not like that anymore, because your name is far more what carries yourself in the UFC. I mean, how many fights has Mike Perry lost now? And he's still a fan favorite, and he I doubt he'll be ever bottom of the prelims.
Yeah, he's got, like, despite his his current run, he's got that kind of entertainment value. He always brings in viewers, just because of the kind of person he is.
Yeah. What do you think to Mike Perry? Have you ever met him?
I've never. I mean, I've been in the same room with him, like the media days and stuff, but I've never spoke to him one-on-one. He's a funny guy, man. I find him really funny.
Yeah, I think he's funny. But I feel like he's not always trying to be funny when I find him funny.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like he'll just be like rude to someone.
Oh my god, man. I knew you were going to bring it up. I was not going to bring this up, but you've made me think of it, so I am going to have to play this.
one of the funniest videos I've seen
So
involved in MMA.
I'm just going to show you the audio of this instead. But my God, is this funny. It's probably funnier because we know the guy who is destroying. So sorry, Jose, about this, but this is Mike Perry destroying MMA fighting journalist Jose Youngs. No, I wouldn't actually really call it a destroying, but it was just fucking so funny, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know Jose. You'll know his voice. I'm sure you'll know his voice. That's the funny thing about this sport is you're known by your voice, aren't you? Usually, as a journalist, or not that we're journalists, but like Oscar and people like that.
Yeah, recognisable voices.
John Morgan.
Yeah.
But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna play you this. This is Mike Perry, just ripping into Jose Youngs from MMA fighting. Sorry, Jose, about this, bro, but it is what it is. Right.
You and Luis Pena, best friends? I keep seeing you on your vlog. You guys hanging out all the time.
That's not my vlog. He's here for the fight. He's a good guy. Why you gotta be gay with it? We best friends. Are these people your best friends? You're standing pretty close to them.
Sure.
Your hair's pretty fucking friendly. Motherfucker. Any other fucking questions?
Good, Mike. Thanks, Mike.
And then he just walks off. You can find that on Full Violence on Instagram. They're actually a pretty good Instagram account. I don't know who runs them or whatever, but they do that shit pretty good.
It's not even it's not even because it's Jose. It's just what he says as well. Like it's like a shit rip thing.
Yeah,
you'd say at school or something.
It was, but that's why it was so fucking funny, man.
Yeah.
It's like, have you seen them rap battles from primary school?
Yeah.
Man, I get such a laugh out of them. There's just like, if you go onto YouTube and search like primary school rap battle, and there'll be like two kids from some London grammar school with their shirt and their ties on, and they're just surrounded by like 11-year-olds. And they'll just have the shittest line ever, and it just erupts, just like. I could watch those videos for hours, man. They're great videos. Love that stuff. There's some funny stuff that happens behind the scenes. I remember we were doing a food review. Me, Oscar, some other guys. And that was something that we thought was funny. It didn't get a very good response. We was in Abu Dhabi, and because it was so hot, all of the puddings and everything melted, and it left in just a tray of like juice, and everybody was proper kicking off at Oscar, saying that like he was being culturally inappropriate.
Yeah. When it was like an Italian dessert or something. It's like
Exactly. What's been all right here? We'll pick up on some of these cards a bit as we go through. I don't want to just keep it on that. It gets a bit stale. But I was going to ask you, what's the most? I've got a few questions to ask you. I'll try and answer them as well. But firstly, what's been the biggest surprise for you working in this industry?
I think probably the biggest surprise is how approachable everyone is. To a certain extent, like especially the fighters, and because you get in a lot of sports, like the stars or the athletes are kind of kept away. I think a little bit more, especially like in football. So yeah, that's probably been the biggest surprise to me is that when you talk to fighters on like Instagram, social media, or even outside of that, like if you just meet them in the street, they're always up for like creating content, answering questions, and so I think that's probably the biggest thing for me.
Would you say David Haye was approachable?
No.
Do you want to tell everybody? So Jamie nearly got genuinely beaten up by David Haye.
But no fault of my own, I'd say. Literally. So it was for Tyson Fury Wilder 3. We were there. We were covering it as media, and it was at what hotel was it? Was it New York? New York, I think it was in Vegas. New York, yeah. And so we turned up there, and we got in, and Lennox Lewis, David Haye, and Frank Warren, they were all doing a little interview, like a little scrum with a couple of like YouTubers, us, and some more media. And then that kind of broke off. So we were with...
Proper sounds like a court admission, doesn't it? Come on.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows what actually happened.
Yeah.
But so it all broke off. We were with Nick Pete as well, from Fight Disciples. And we were walking down the corridor, and I was getting a shot of David Haye. And we were walking towards the media room. And I was getting a shot of him, and I noticed he kind of clocked on that I was getting a shot of him. So I didn't want to be too in his face or,
So
annoying.
what did you do to get around that?
Filmed him again. But we got into the casino, and there's a big media room where all the journalists go, all the fighters go, all the teams go, and
you're supposed to be videoed.
Yeah, essentially it's for media, so there will be that people with taking pictures and cameras. I mean, everyone's got a camera on their phone now, so you kind of got to expect it. So I was outside this media room, and I was getting a shot of David Haye walking towards the media room, and he stopped about halfway and got a photo with a fan. And then that's where I saw him lock eyes on me and just start thundering towards me. And he just kicked off major.
Yeah, he did. Jamie's like, as you can tell, quite a somber, slow character. And David Haye came at him like 100 miles an hour. Into the elbow, like, just as the scientists say. So he came thundering. He came bounding over at Jamie, and I was about like 2 meters away. I was kind of doing something. I don't know what I was doing. I was doing something else. I turned around, and I saw a scuffle, like people like whoa. And I turned around and just saw like it somehow a gap appeared between shoulders, and I just saw Jamie's little like shocked face. I was like, what is going on? So I ran over, not that I was going to do anything, but I ran over. And David Haye was screaming at you, and he was trying to snatch off our camera, and he was going to throw it and like smash it on the floor, all because we was videoing him, trying to get just an embedded style shot of David Haye walking in to the fucking media room.
Yeah, the thing is, I can understand if I was like in his face asking him questions, like being inappropriate basically, but I was not doing that whatsoever. I was probably about a good 10-20 yards away from him, getting a very discreet shot of him just walking, and that was literally it.
Yeah.
And he full on flipped.
And
I was pretty scared, to be honest. I mean, he is an ex-heavyweight champion boxer, so
he was proper, man. He was shook. His lips went blue. It was like, oh man, honestly, I remember he was just like, "Have you got a fag? I need to go outside."
I'd quit smoking at that point as well, so I blame David Haye for making me start smoking again.
Talking about people that haven't been the politest to us, who else hasn't been very nice to us?
Well, I remember our first Stockholm event.
Yeah, your first ever
Yeah,
media
this was
day.
my first ever media day.
Go on,
Probably
tell
my
'em.
first ever interview in a media day situation. And basically it was Jimmy Manoa. Yeah, basically it was Jimmy Manoa. And I mean, he wasn't necessarily rude or anything. He was just he could tell I was nervous, for sure, because he even said that, which made me even more nervous.
So
yeah.
what happened?
Well, so yeah, my first interview, rocked up with my camera, had a couple of questions in my head that I was going to ask him. And I was a little bit shaky with my camera, you could tell. And I hit record, then I was like, I'll just hit record, like just kind of fumbling a little bit with my camera. And just the first thing he said to me was like, "Are you nervous?" And I was just like, and then that just made me even more nervous. And then he was just very like, I asked him a question, he was just very off cuff, and he just didn't really take me seriously, I guess, probably. Which
And then what happened to him?
he got sparked out.
Did he? Oh
Yeah.
Rakic.
Rakic.
So he did.
And I spoke to him at Rakic, and he was the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
So
So you were team Rakic.
yeah.
I'm sure Manoa is a sound
No, yeah,
guy.
of course, yeah. And Ward, our manager, who knows him pretty well, he told me he's a really nice dude. So I don't hold anything against him.
Nah.
It was probably just me being nervous, and he was just taking the piss.
To be fair, that could well have been the case.
Yeah, for sure.
So he could have just been
Yeah.
taking the piss.
Yeah,
Shit. Do you
Probably.
feel bad now?
a little bit. No, but yeah, it is all good. That's like probably the second worst experience I've had. But as I said, nothing that bad really.
Nah.
What about you? You had any bad ones?
I think so, yeah. No, I've not had a bad one, but I've had like one where I've been like so embarrassed. But Dan takes responsibility for this. But do you know what? I shouldn't have even said that, because I take responsibility for this. But he did say, anyway, no.
Go on then.
Right, what happened was, and it was all my fault, I'm just joking. So it was all my fault. It was one of our first events, right? So we came into this never intending to get in front of the camera. That's another thing that you guys should know, is that this was never something that we planned to do. We wanted to be working in the UFC and working in and around the UFC. I guess we didn't really think what that would entail and how that would be even possible without not getting on the camera, or without not having Dan do every single thing that we can get him to do, which who wants to be doing that? So I think it was just around the point where we thought, I think it might be wise for, like, we're going to media day, for example, filming, and then we're not really sure, like, we're just hovering over people, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Like hovering over John
Yeah.
Morgan with a camera,
Yeah, but I mean, we were
Got a
kind of
bit of it.
shooting it more like the embedded style, weren't we? Really?
We were, but like, I guess it just had to get. Well, we thought, come on, we've got to be able to ask some goddamn questions. So we gave it a go, and this was during, I think, the first time I decided to give it a go, and I was reading. I'd wrote down a load of questions, and I was reading them off a piece of paper, but I had fucking put, because when you get going and it's your go, you're like stood there, you got your cards, you know what you're doing, and then it's your go. Shit all of a sudden just goes really confusing. I don't know why, but obviously it's nerves, and it's because we've never done it before, and then there's a fighter sat on a stool staring at you, waiting you to do something.
But plus you've got about 20 media behind you as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Just like, what's he going to ask?
Yeah. So everyone's fucking watching you as well. So I had my cards, and in the fucking chaos of the moment, which wasn't chaotic at all if you were to look at it from the outside. I must have like wrote down, or I got something wrong, and I was asking the wrong fighter the wrong questions. But there was a link between the two, and I was asking Lena Landsberg like some questions because she was fighting Bia Malecki, right? And this was the first time I'd ever heard of these two girls as well. And obviously I know them really well now, and I actually speak to Lena a little bit when I see her, and she's so lovely. But I was because I think she's trained with Bia Malecki as well beforehand. I think that's what happened. She wasn't fighting Bia, and I thought she was fighting Bia, but she just trained with Bia. So I'm still confused about the whole goddamn situation, as you can tell. But I was asking her questions as if she was fighting Bia, and then she just looked at me in front of everyone, and she was just like, I'm not fighting Bia. I was like, yeah. And then I was...
See ya. Shit.
Oh man, like I guess you do have to go through these fucking embarrassing, awful moments. Like it almost seems like it's like a law from whoever's fucking sorting out all of this shit.
But it also makes you realise that next time you do it, do your research, and no, it's just in general, like because some of the questions that they get asked aren't that great anyway, so as long as you can come up with something a little bit unique and a little bit different to not what, something about their personal life maybe, or, they seem to respond a lot better to that.
Yeah.
Rather than just get asking, so what do you think to the fight, or, and so on.
I agree. I think like that's the easy thing to do, and in a way, everybody asks, why does John Morgan go first in all of these interviews? And in a way, I'm kind of glad that John does go first for a couple of reasons. Firstly, all the questions that you thought of have just been asked by John, so then you're forced to think deeper, think more outside the box of what you ask someone. So John will ask the standard questions, like he's really good at setting the tone, and he's a true professional, and he's been in the game for a long, long time. So it's actually quite good having him go first, because you just don't ask the obvious questions, because John gets them out of the way, which leaves us to think of different questions, more personal questions. And that's been like a little bit of an accidental byproduct to our style, really, isn't it? When we're talking to all these fighters, is we do like to try and ask questions outside of fighting that can be possibly directed back to fighting. And they seem to be doing really well, and it's so cool having them actually say to you, like, that's a really good question, thank you. Or like message you after the press conference or whatever, like thanking you for the question. Like that stuff is like, that's really cool. And it's in, like, you think you're not even really doing anything, like I'm just thought of a question.
It's nice to see that a good response, like when Dana said to you that it was a good question.
Oh yeah, that was fucking cool. I did kiss his body a little bit, but it's a body I'm willing to kiss, and it's a body that probably deserves a good kiss.
We want to,
like for sure, man. That Dana has, like, without Dana, God knows what the UFC would be doing, like, during this pandemic. He's the first person to create the blueprint for how to run out an event in the middle of a pandemic. He's brought so many kept so many people's livelihoods, and not just the fighters but people like us as well. Like without that we wouldn't be in Vegas,
for sure.
Without the belief we have in Dana, we wouldn't have flown all the way to Vegas and took a gamble on the fights out here that we can cover and can't cover, because even if they go into lockdown, Dana's not stopping. So that gives us good, a good backbone to work from. So yeah, I can't remember what I actually asked Dana, but dude, I'll give you the load. Right, Dana is such a cool guy from what I've met of him, right? But he's an elusive character, and rightly so, because he's probably he probably is the most famous guy in the UFC. He's the most respected, like, from fighters and people there, people that work with him. So you almost get like starstruck seeing him, because he's rarely here or there, and the only time you typically ever see him is at a post-fight press conference. He's like he's made it so that he doesn't ever have to cross paths with media or do anything like that until it's,
until he sat down in front of him at a press conference.
Exactly. So his time is valuable as well. So it was the Khabib Gaethje press conference. We arrived fucking 2 hours early, like a pair of prats. And so, I mean, to be honest, it did get me front row seats, which was pretty cool. So I'm sat at the front of this press conference for 2 hours with nothing happening, just me trying to memorize what I'm going to say to Dana, what I'm going to say to Gaethje, what I'm going to say to Khabib. And after a while, like, I'm just sat there and I'm just like getting stressed, but like I didn't even really know I was getting stressed because it was mixed so much with anxiety just because of the waiting around. And then you're thinking, fuck, like, I'm saying this in my head, but I've just said it wrong. If I say that out loud like that and I fuck up like that on the press conference, which the press conference freaked me out a little bit because I know everybody is watching the press conference. Everybody watches the press conference. Like a big fight like Khabib Gaethje, I know you're all watching that press conference. So, man, I was just shitting myself. Anyway, I got handed the UFC mic, and I could just feel, honestly, I was getting like dizzy. I was like, if I stand up right now, I actually pass out, man. Like, my hands went all tingly. I was like a proper little bitch, but it didn't look like it, and it didn't even sound like it. So this is quite a honest admission from such a legend, to be fair.
No, you like when you've been asking, especially at Fight Island, you did a proper good job, man. Even though sometimes how you think you sound, you don't sound bad.
Yeah, it's weird that, like, it goes slow motion when you're saying it, but then when you watch it back, it was just like blah, 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 blah. So, but yeah, that was cool, man. I asked him he said it was a good question. It was a bit of a thoughtful question, I suppose, whilst just saying thanks. And afterwards he came up to me and said, that was a real cool question, thank you for your kind words. And that was fucking super cool. And so the next day, Lene, who is Dana's assistant, she took me backstage to Dana White, and we actually gave him a few Fight Island t-shirts. You've probably seen the Fight Island.
Yeah, the one, the Enter the Dragon yellow Dana White's Fight Island t-shirt. They're available on reptile.co.uk if you want to go check them out.
Yeah, you should. I should have probably got some pictures of that ready.
Also along with this one.
The I Hate Dan Hardy t-shirt. I think they're flying off the shelves. I don't know why. But yeah, there's been some like real crazy times, but a lot of them have been like personal. Some of them I genuinely can't even talk about. But some of them some of them aren't that great.
Yeah. Who because you said about Dana, when you see him, you get a bit starstruck. Like, besides Dana, who else have you had that, like, fighter-wise, have you had that around? If so, if you have had any.
I have, but I feel like the more I've been doing it, the less I've been getting starstruck about fighters, and more like, not that it should be normal, but like I guess I've made it so it fit, like, in my head I want it to be normal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's Mike Perry, and Mike Perry should be there. Do you know what I mean?
And I should be. Yeah. I understand.
And that's not even something I've like tried to do myself. I think that's just something that's happened naturally. But in reflection, I feel like that's now what it feels like. Is like, and the weirdest thing about that though is when you go home and then it's just like, maybe I like, was that, what the fuck? How am I doing this shit, man? This is crazy. But it be like, it's the hardest thing to explain because I've wanted to be doing this job for fucking time, and now we're doing it, and we're doing it better than I ever imagined. It's like, before I was doing it, if somebody was to show me like, oh my god, you'll be doing this, you'll be doing that, it's like, yeah, man, I must be like, it must be crazy, and it fucking is crazy, man. But the thing about it all is that you almost have to numb yourself to it to a certain degree, because otherwise you can't do the job. So you kind of like suppress some of the like excitement a little bit, and it doesn't even look like I suppress fucking any excitement. But if you know me, I would like, god damn, I'm suppressing sometimes.
Mine's the opposite. Looks like it's all suppressed.
But I don't know, man. It's been some crazy times. Like,
I think the way I when I'm in media day or fight day, or I'm just generally filming any fighter, I tend to just look at the screen on the camera at all times, because if I look away from that and look at the fighter, I would get in that kind of like clouded, starstruck vision.
Where you start thinking about
I did it with like Cormier is probably the only person like really who I've had that with. When I was like, I think it was, when was it?
Oh, that reminds me, fucking the only two people that have starstruck me is Joe Rogan and Dana White.
I forgot about, we went to,
mate, that was the quickest turnaround of something that I never ever thought would happen in my life. Like, I've been watching Rogan's podcast. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not like a super Rogan fanboy. I do really like his podcast though, and I do think he has some of the best guests. But I think there's some really good podcasts out there. But back then I was like 90% only listening to Rogan, and then I just used to think, man, like, fuck, it would be so cool to go to that studio. Like, thinking about it in a tour sense, like where I have to pay and like there's a rope around it, not like a real life setting. And then Dan got invited to go on Joe Rogan's show. And Dan brought me and Jamie along with him, and that was some super surreal stuff, man.
That was momentous for sure. Because we hadn't
even been doing this job long, and we'd just flown to Las Vegas.
I think that was because we did Vegas International Fight Week, then we went to New York before that, didn't we? Sorry, Vegas. Then we went to New York for the Newark card, Lawler, Covington, and then we flew to Anaheim for Stipe Cormier 2.
Yeah, it was that card, wasn't it? Yeah, and then we went to Joe Rogan's.
Yeah,
that was wild, man. Went into his studio, and it's huge. You walk into the studio and you've got that monkey that's on all fours.
Yeah, the werewolf.
Werewolf screaming. You got some mad art around. Then you've got the green room, which is where the guests watch the show live from in the green room. And on that desk is some of Joe Rogan's good weed. It was a bit too good by the looking at Joe, how stoned he was. But I think we were too as well. We ended up Mike Tyson brought Joe Rogan some Mike Tyson weed, and that weed was in a little jar on the table for us. Well, we assume. So we were hitting that, man, and then like we would like, as soon as I was high in Joe Rogan's studio, I had a little like almost a semi-freak, like, mental freak out. Do you know what I mean? Not like, oh my God, but like, oh my God.
Yeah, like a reality
Fuck.
check.
Yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what I remember going to get a coffee because he had a turmeric coffee machine, and above it was like a mosaic of Joe's Rogan Experience logo. I just remember like looking at it like, fuck, I'm actually in this studio.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was
It's a
crazy.
mad place as well. He's got like a archery range in there,
Yeah,
and he had
Matt's.
a wicked collection of cars as well. If anyone's into cars, but yeah, Porsches, M3s, loads of cool stuff.
Yeah, he was showing Dan all the makeup of all of them. I was like acting like I knew what was going. Yeah. I literally only know how to drive a car. That's it, man. We've had some good times, haven't we?
Oh man, past 12 to 18 months has been nuts,
Yeah.
and it's gone so fast. And I think that's what the worst thing was about COVID as well, is that we had such a momentum after 248 with all the content we were producing, and we were like, shit, it's going to be like this every time we come here now. And then, yeah, COVID happened and it just pulled it to a stop, didn't it?
Yeah, like we built some really good connections with everyone and everything back in February to March,
Mhm.
out in Vegas, from UFC PI access to all sorts, and now it's all just fucking. I remember thinking at the time, man, like, wonder what it's gonna take to stop all of this, and then like could never imagined it'd be COVID, but there you go, that's what it is. So now it's just like rebuilding. It's what it feels like. It's like every time we've just got to rebuild. So it's cool to be out here for so long, and we'll be able to, add to what we've been doing out in Fight Island, give you some more content like that where we can, if we can. If you guys have any suggestions of what you want us to do, what you want us to see, if anybody you want us to interview or to chat to, that'd be cool as well. Like I say, man, we've got a lot of time, so even if you guys know any fighters, how did you meet Dan? How did we meet?
You met him first, didn't you?
Yeah. So I've been into MMA for a couple more years than Jamie, and back then you weren't really into it then, were you?
No. I mean, you used to put podcasts on, and I watched the occasional fight, but nowhere near as much as you know.
Yeah. So I was just MMA mad, and I just wanted to try and get into it somehow. And I just started training. Then I started making videos for some of the fighters that were coming through the gyms, having professional fights on Cage Warriors. And I think I was just making some videos, and Dan saw some of the videos, and I thought might be able to help him with, well, it was to do with Jimmy. So Jimmy Warled and Dan Hardy have a gym together called Hardy Warled MMA. Now, at this time, that wasn't around. That was something that was in plans for doing. So I'd never even met Dan. I was training with Jimmy Warhead, making videos for them and talking to Jimmy about business ideas that maybe, later down the road, if they fancied it, to try this. And Jimmy must have said something to Dan. And anyway, Dan basically told Jimmy to tell me to come round, and that was wild. I just remember pulling up outside Dan's. I closed my door, and I was looking around like, where's his house then? And then I just heard a head pop over a fence, or saw a head pop over a fence. It was like, James. I was like, oh, Dan. And walked round, and it must have been within 30 minutes, we were wrapping one up and having a little smoke. And then all of a sudden, Dan was like, oh, Tim Sheaf? And I was like, yeah, the vegan guy, parkour vegan guy. And then he was like, okay, cool, yeah. Do you know Ross Edgley? And I was like, yeah, Ross swam around England. And he's like, yeah, well, they're both turning up at the house in like the next 5 minutes. I was just like, what the fuck? So I'm baked out of my head in Dan Hardy's house, just me and Dan waiting for two more, at this time, like pretty big figures to come around the house. Basically, the whole time they were just sharing like really cool insights to their lives and what they've been doing. And I just remember that was a like real big point where I was just like, man, all these guys are fucking doing amazing stuff except me. Just felt so like left out of the chat, not because I wasn't being included, but because like, what the fuck are you gonna say?
Their stories are like yeah.
It's just like, I edited a video. Cool. But yeah, that was how we met Dan, and then one thing just snowballed to another, and we sat down. We had ideas the day we met, and it was just like, yeah, we want to be doing this, we want to be doing that. And when two people sit down and are excited about a subject, you're never sure how much of that is going to be reality. And he's saying like, we'll try and get some UFC events done and stuff like that. And luckily, the first one coming up was UFC London, which was on our doorstep. Yeah. So we didn't. I say luckily, I would have loved it to be somewhere else, but it was lucky in terms of a learning experience because we were close by home. That was till Masvidal. Yeah. That was our first UFC.
Yeah, that was that
we did UFC for full event. Reptile. Mm-hmm. That was mad. So, what was I saying? What were you
at? You were chatting with Dan about ideas.
Yeah. And he was talking about what can we do in the future, and it was just like, literally, a month later, we were like, created a YouTube channel. We were posting podcasts on there. We were making little fight documentaries, and that was all in the first month of meeting each other when we didn't really even know what we were going to be doing. And I think that month really set the tone for what can be done with all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, it was just like, quit our jobs. We quit what we were doing, which we were running a business together. We just sacked it in. We were ting. We just went straight over, man, balls deep. And Dan's opened the door for us really on all of this stuff. But equally, I do think like we haven't just like peered through the door and stepped in. We bolted it through the door. And I think that's been important as well in the growth of the channel, for considering this channel has been around for 14 months. Yeah, 14, 15 months this channel has been open for. That's not a very long time, and we nearly have 100k subs. We are probably the only UFC media outlet, or whatever you want to call it, from the UK that is doing it at this level, or whatever you call it, like this, I'd say level of the UFC and what we're doing. I don't really know any other UK journalists that are in it full time. Obviously, you get the odd UK guy come down from like the Evening Standard, the Guardian, if there's a massive fight.
But I think like BT Sport are the main guys who,
But BT Sport,
obviously,
like no one's challenging with BT Sport as in terms of a media outlet, really. Well, there will be a few, but BT Sport spread over everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the UFC, but
no.
We're just
they're sport to sport in general, and I'd say their UFC coverage is probably the smaller part of what they actually cover, because they got football, Champions League, so but
no, I agree.
But I think what Dan's done is he's just gave us an opportunity, and we've done our best to get out of it of what we can, and
and try and like learn new things and jump in the deep end as well. Like that's always a challenge and quite fun. Like, I enjoy jumping in the deep end
Yeah.
and learning something, like, on the spot. Like, that Michael Chiesa interview, like, I had no idea really what was going to happen in that. And it
Mhm.
was just like, just set up the camera, sit down and talk to him.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all right, I can do that. Right, fine.
I think like creatively as well, because we're both from a creative background, and when you're given, you know, you're given basically whatever you want to do creatively, you can do. And Dan's gave us that opportunity to do that.
See, that's
which in a lot of jobs you don't
Nah.
get that. You've always got to do it this way or that way.
That is the
But-
coolest thing about this job, is like when I even imagined it to the best of what I thought my job could be, it wasn't this good.
Yeah.
And that trips me the fuck out, man. I used to like think that, like, I just don't get it, because with something, it's like, not that I believe in God, but God gives with one hand and takes with the other. I've kind of felt or like understood that to a certain degree. It's like, okay, I'll have a sick job, I'll work for the UFC, I'll be doing a 5 till 9, a 9 till 5 day job, like all of these things, and because it's such a good job, there's going to be some shit, like I'll have a wank boss who is just pissing me off all the time, but I've got the best job in the world and I live in Vegas and fuck it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt it would go if I did get something really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like, there's no one's a dick in the company. Like, we can do whatever we want, and it's sometimes like, but do you know what, like, weirdly, that kind of level of, what's the word, confidence in you, or whatever you want to call it, gives you a bit of a reality check, more so than if you had a wank boss.
Yeah.
Because
Well, it's constant encouragement, but like positive encouragement. You know what I mean? It's not like, I don't know, if you've got a normal job, people would probably criticize you, which would make you feel like you don't want to do it. Or whereas this job, it's like it's always encouraged, like, to do whatever you want. And
yeah,
as long as you know doing a good job, then
yeah, it's cool, man, because it's not like we have to like hit targets. Like, we've got targets, but they're natural targets. Do you know what I mean? They're targets we're creating in our head anyway. Like, let's get to 100k. We want this to happen. We want to grow. We want to work harder to make this happen. But usually, I think the fact that everything's on our back, like, we get a plane ticket from the company, get sent out to a sick Airbnb, and then you land and it's just you two, and you realise what all of these people have done for you to put you here. You kind of don't want to mess it up or like dick around or do anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because you're constantly like thinking, shit, they've put me in a mad position right now. Like, and at home I'm just like, yeah, go. Not really thinking about it, just want to be doing it. So yeah, book it. I want to go. Oh my God, let's go. Let's do that event. Let's do it. I want to do it. Then when you get there, you're like, whoa, how have we just made whatever we wanted to happen just happen like that? And it makes you work a little bit harder, makes you come, which is weird. That's so weird in my head, because like, we haven't got a boss telling us what to do in that sense. Like, but everybody know. I guess that's just why it works so well. See, it's so hard to explain, man. But I am getting to a couple of what you guys are asking, and you did ask if we had done shrooms with Dan. Not yet. Not yet. We haven't done shrooms with Dan as of yet. But we have definitely done them. I don't know, man. I don't know if I would want to do them with Dan. I don't know if I would. I kind of like to be like either on my own or like somewhere where I wouldn't be afraid to like do something daft. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would hate to get on shrooms around Dan's house and then find out I was running around the house naked or something. Like, oh my God. card. Do you want to have a little look at this main card?
Yeah. Let's have a dive into it.
So, kicking off the fight, we got Spike Carlyle against Bill Algeo. Oh, look at that record from Spike. 1-1-0. So he's only had 2 pro fights.
Is that Spike?
Yeah. So as I say, we're supposed to be doing research today. And we are doing research, and we have done research, and we will continue to do more research. But we thought, why don't we do some research live with everybody? See if you find it interesting or not. But this is the type of thing that we'll be doing. So last fight, they're both coming off a loss. The Alpha Ginger against Senior Perfecto. I mean, Senor Perfecto, don't really like that, so I'm gonna have to go with the Alpha Ginger. Already want the Alpha Ginger to win this. So this is the first fight on the prelims. We've got a 3-inch height difference as well, which is 3-inch height difference and a 2-inch reach difference. No leg reach, so I don't know if Bill has any legs. It looks like he does in the picture.
Spike's a much sturdier, stronger, thicker frame. So, and by the looks of it, I think. Bill is. It would be a bit more standoffish, I think. Maybe.
You think what?
I think Bill will be a bit more of the standoffish kind of attacking, counter-attacking, and Spike will be a bit more coming forward.
I'm just looking at their sheet at the moment, and we have got one fight in the UFC from Bill, and it was against Ricardo Lamas.
Lamas.
That's it's not an easy first fight, man. That isn't Ricardo Lamas for your first fight. Damn, to be fair. That's an interesting one. So, he lost via decision as well to Lamas, which, okay, he lost, but he took it the 3 rounds, and that says a lot about his durability to me. So he's not on a 1-fight win streak. He's on a 1-fight loss streak. It's funny, the UFC website get a lot of things weird and wrong. They even wrote Paige Van Zandt's weight as like a men's lightweight.
Yeah, they've got a few spelling mistakes on there as well.
Yeah. Do you guys follow the Casual Police on Instagram? Casual MMA Police. They pull out so many mistakes on the live show. Like Goddard was called Kevin. What's his bloody name? I can't remember. No, he's a journalist. But he was called the wrong name live, like as the fight was being announced on the. When they write it out in text. Yeah. They wrote like completely wrong.
Amanda Ribas's record was 100-0.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
100-0, Amanda Ribas. Yeah, I don't know about that. So, never know what to think to these UFC stats. So, we've got 31 years old. So, he's the same age as me. Now, that makes me feel shit.
I always think that, when I see athletes now, especially like footballers that are playing at like 16 years old. And
I remember Spike. This guy's fucking nuts.
I was thinking that when I seen him.
Man, yeah. I was thinking, yeah. I don't know why that didn't ring a bell, man. But who was his fight against? That was an awesome fight. I think it was even
Billy-
the fight that he lost. Yeah.
Billy Quantillo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, I do remember this guy. This guy's a fucking crazy dude, man. Pretty sure he was screaming and shouting like constantly. He's not on a 5-fight win streak because he's lost his last fight. But he's got 5 wins via knockout, 3 wins from submission. He has a just slightly above average striking accuracy statistics and average grappling accuracy. Do you know what would be cool is if we could watch some of these fights or even some highlights during the but that would take too long to figure out. Damn. We did have the UFC stats.
Apparently, Bill's fight against Ricardo Lamas, he stepped in short notice as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So, losing a decision against Lamas on a short notice fight, you know.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, is it?
No. And he's obviously got a lot more to prove.
So this is a really good website for your stats. So I wanted to check out...
Thanks, Prince Vegeta's son, for that fact, by the way.
What's that?
That he stepped in short notice.
Ah, yeah, thank you very much, mate. So let's have a look at this.
Oh, no,
match.
sorry, it wasn't Prince Vegeta, it was Dimitri Sped.
So this is the matchup statistics right here. Fighter v fighter. So Spike is 9-2, Billy is 13-5. Average fight time, Billy's is 15 minutes. Average fight time. That's obviously because it's just recorded from one fight that was a decision, so that makes sense. Spike's average fight time is about 8 minutes. So what's that, like second round? Mid-second round finish. Ooh, that might be might be an interesting bet. Second round finish from Spike. Again, like Spike is wild, man. I feel like if it gets to the end, depending on how Bill plays, because Bill's got some decent wins in his career against some relatively good people, and he's got some nice finishes as well. Stuff like spinning back fists as a finish, elbows, ground and pound. He's got a couple of subs on there as well, does Bill Algeo. But this looks like it could be a real scrap. But I think I'm going to put my money on Spike for this one.
Yeah, I think I'd say the same.
Both switch fighters as well. So let's have a look at the strikes landed per minute. So we've got 3.7 and 7.8 in one fight is Bill's stats. So again, they're warped stats really to take into consideration.
But it's got a lot of output based on that, even in one fight. Yeah,
for sure. Striking accuracy 53%. So strikes landed per he must be throwing. Strikes absorbed per minute is just as bad as just as good or bad as his strikes landed per minute. His grappling, again, it's hard to judge his grappling based off that one fight, but it says he's got a loss against Lana. Was he in the UFC ages ago?
Has he got another fight?
Nah.
No.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I do really like Spike though. Yeah, he fought Ricardo Lamas. That's what we were talking about. Bill Algeo fought Ricardo Lamas in his first UFC fight,
and he lost.
But he did come in short notice. Apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's cool. That's very interesting. So I wanted to have a look at how these two stats match up, because something about this matchup has got my attention, but it's got it because it's doesn't seem to be a great statistical matchup. Two pretty meh fighters right here with a lot of losses on their record.
Which fight's this, sorry?
This is Gina Mazzany and Rachel Ostovich. I just can't get over Gina has won one fight in the UFC, and it was back. Well, I don't think it was in Tough, actually, her one fight, but 5 losses. 5 losses and 1 victory in the UFC. So my money's on Rachel for this one, even though Rachel last fight was against Paige Van Zandt, and her last win was in the Tough House. So yeah, this one's going to be interesting to see if I'm interested to know if Rachel loses, does she get cut, or does she stay in because she's hot, or apparently she's hot. Takeshi Sato, that's good.
Yeah.
But also, man, the co-main, I forgot about that. Anthony Smith and Devin Clark.
Wasn't it originally Devin Clark against... Oh, yeah. Gamzatov. That was the original bout.
Yeah. Shamil Gams.
So Smith stepped in.
So Smith has come into this one, but I'm sure he's been training. Smith is a workaholic. And if he's not sat down analysing fights, he's in them at home. Literally.
Yeah, quite literally.
So Smith's record 33 and 16. So that's a veteran record right there. What's that? 49 fights as a professional against Devin Clark, who is 6 fights as a professional. What do you think to Devin?
I like him. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of him, but
You've been at a few of his fights.
yeah, a few of his fights. I mean, he's got a bit of a... At the minute, he's won his last 2 fights. He beat Dequan Townsend, and then he had a couple of cancelled bouts, and then he fought Alonzo Menifield, and won that. So he's coming off 2 wins, so he's got a bit of momentum going into this fight. So considering Smith's...
That Alonzo fight was pretty fucking sick as well, man. And that genuinely was a fucking really good fight.
Considering Smith's coming off 2 losses, you know, Devin might have a bit of the advantage mentally. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
he is coming out of a 2-win fight. Oh yeah, and he fought Darko Stosic. Darko's fucking good as well. Same with so he's lost to Rakic, he's lost to Jan Blachowicz. But Devin is good, man. I was surprised that he beat Alonzo Menifield, because I actually had a what they called a accumulator on that fight. I remember that fight because that was the first fight that I got the pick wrong. That was a bummer.
What, the Menifield fight?
Yeah. So that's Devin Clark. So Devin's like, what is he again? He is 16 fights into his pro record. 12 wins and 4 losses with the average fight time of 11 minutes. It's very, very similar to Anthony Smith's average fight time as well. So man, that's something to keep an eye on. Could be looking at a 3rd round finish here from either or gentleman. But like you say, I think Anthony Smith, because he's coming off a 2-fight. Well, how many fights is it?
2 fights.
It's 2, right? I think Anthony's going to come in. Oh yeah, because it was Glover, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Knocked
Glover
his teeth out.
knocked his teeth out, and then he lost to
Yeah, man.
Alexander Rakic. Yeah, he lost to Glover, and then he lost to Rakic as well for a decision.
They're both orthodox as well. That's interesting. So they're going to both have the similar. No. That's not right. 15, 24. Yeah. So they are. Yeah. Both orthodox. Man. April the 12th, 1990 was Devin Clark's birthday. Very close to your year as well. That, innit? 1991.
1990. I'm 1992.
Shit, are you?
Yeah.
All right. I'm in the 80s, I am.
Yeah, 89.
Yeah. Strikes landed per minute, we've got Devon leading that. We've got striking accuracy, Devon leading that. Strikes absorbed per minute. Oof. Anthony Smith taking that. So,
Thing is, I think with them, because Smith's had so many more fights, it's gonna, like, average out to favour.
There is no such
Devon.
thing as MMA maths either. So, like, looking at all these statistics and trying to, work out an outcome,
It just gives you a rough idea of how they perform in their fights, I guess.
Yeah, of course. And it's interesting as well. Like, I find stats quite interesting. Like if I didn't know anything about these two fighters and I was just looking at this record and what it was to say, I find that quite interesting. If I didn't know who these were, I would say that Anthony Smith is probably gonna try, and even though his takedown accuracy is very low, I can't imagine he's gonna want to stand with Devin Clark according to the stats, but he probably will do, and he'll probably get a knockout as well now. I mean, that's just the way it goes, ain't it? We've got
Brown Bear against Lionheart. Pretty cool two fight names.
Yeah, Brown. The coolest fight names were what's that Chaos dude called? Chaos Williams.
Yeah,
against,
Chaos Williams.
Chaos Williams again. Oh mate, I just had it in my head before Chaos. Karma Worthy, that's the one.
Oh yeah.
They're two cool fight names. Karma Worthy, Chaos Williams, and they've both fought each other. So let's have a look at the Blaydes and Lewis stats we've got going on here. That surprises me as well, how many fights Derek Lewis has had.
Yeah, that surprised me earlier when I was doing the War Room.
Yeah.
Like, what is it, 24-7?
Yeah. That's a lot of
mad.
fights, man. That's 31 fights as a professional. And you see Derek, like, he doesn't care at all about fighting. Like, at all, does he? Like, he came, I remember the first time we met him, he was like, I don't watch the UFC.
Yeah.
It's just like...
He's like not a fan, is he, at all?
No.
He's just there to take part.
Yeah. Like, you ask him a question about someone in his division, and he's just like, I don't know, I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
It's just like, fucking hell, man. Fair play. But just because I know that he's not that arsed about, like, maybe he's just one of them fighters that just literally just only likes to fight, and that's it. I think he's starting to come more into his, like, personality, though, a lot more. Especially after since Balls' hot comment kind of set the tone for...
And his Instagram, the stuff he posts on there, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it is. So we've got an average fight time for Curtis Blaydes as 10 minutes and 34 seconds, meaning 30 seconds into the third round is an average time for Curtis Blaydes. Derek Lewis, we've got the end of the second round being the average fight time for Lewis.
But just to say as well, I did mention it a minute ago, but there's a War Room just come out as well for the Blaydes Lewis card, which Dan has done.
Yeah.
So make sure you go check that out on the channel before the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got the Smith and Devin Clark War Room as well, dropping very shortly tonight. So Curtis is the 1 inch taller than Derek. Now I think this is going to be like an obvious game plan for Curtis Blaydes. We're just going to see Curtis wrestle. In my opinion, I think this is going to be...
I think that's the best best option for him, isn't it, to take Lewis down? Because, like Dan was saying in the war room, if the threat of Derek standing up against you he's always got that power punch, that one punch knockout.
He does.
So,
and I think the things that Derek Lewis is gonna have to do, if Curtis Blaydes is gonna take him down, is to look out for those knees that Derek Lewis has got.
Yeah.
Because, mate, that's another thing that surprises me about Derek Lewis. You're watching this huge dude fight, man, who looks like
Throw a
he's
high
literally only got like a jab and a right hook, or a power fucking overhand.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden he throws a high kick, and sometimes he nearly slips over, and it's just like, then he's coming in, rushing in with flying knees, and it's just like, fair play, I like this. It's pandemonium. It's not always the most amazing technique, but when a dude that big is coming, rushing you, throwing flying knees and kicks, it's gonna probably put you off going for a few takedowns at least not just doing them willy-nilly. So that's something Curtis Blaydes is gonna have to look out for, in my opinion.
The thing is, if Curtis is looking out for them and Derek Lewis is throwing those kind of things, it takes a lot of energy for a big guy like Lewis to keep doing that, with all that weight, to do a flying knee, or if Curtis Blaydes can avoid that and slowly drain Derek Lewis down, and then eventually take him down and just beat him up.
Yeah, that's a very, very, very likely scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what you got, like, flash knockout from Derek Lewis if he wins. And I can think of more than one way Curtis Blaydes wins. I can see him winning a decision. I can see him looking for that double leg, because he's got a brilliant double leg, Curtis Blaydes does. Pushing him up against the fence, taking him down to the floor, and then, literally putting all that weight on his back and trying to do what Daniel Cormier, Khabib, all of those kind of styles of fighters kind of play out in their fights. I imagine we'll see something like that if Curtis Blaydes is super successful in his game plan, assuming that that's his game plan. I think we're going to see him try to wear him out on the floor. So average takedowns, just look at that. Yeah, I mean, the stats say it as well, don't they? Takedown average 15 minutes, almost 7, as opposed to half of 1 from Derek. I don't even know when he's gone for a takedown. Maybe when he's been rocked by accident, and it's just, I haven't got
just
a clue.
fell into
Yeah, it's like tripped or something. Takedown accuracy 55%, 26, 33.
The thing is, though, I mean, Curtis Blaydes, I'm pretty sure he's got knockout power as well, so,
Oh yeah, he does.
Could always be, not to take that away from him.
For sure, but I don't think he's going to want to put his boxing against Lewis's boxing, when we've seen that in the last round, in the last second of a fight, after he's been gassed, like we've seen a gassed, super exhausted Derek Lewis knock someone out in the last second of the third round. So, like, it doesn't take much for Lewis. He's just got to come in smart and understand what he's doing against Curtis. But I think Curtis is just going to go for that double leg, straight up against the fence, straight down, keeping him trapped against the fence, applying just pressure, putting all of his weight on his back, maybe a couple of daggy handstand, daggy stand handcuffs. We all know what they are now, and how demobilizing they are. I think we're going to see something very similar to that. So
should be looking forward to it, though. It should. Fun heavyweights.
But my bet for fight of the night is this one. I'll say it again. Jonathan Pearce, Kai Kamaka. 9-4 Jonathan Pearce, 8-2 from Kai. Both brawlers. Yeah, absolute brawlers. Jonathan's got the lead in the reach, so only by 2 inches. so it's not too significant, especially if they're both swinging and they're both, you know, in the pocket, which is where they're probably going to be for a lot of the time.
I think Bill and Spike will be a good fight as well.
Yeah, true.
I
That will
think
be
that-
good.
That'll be a good fight. That's my pick for fight of the night.
Is it? That's your pick for fight of
that's
the
my
night.
pick for the fight of the night.
What's your guys' pick for fight of the night? Let's have a look at some of these comments, see if we've got any questions. Blaydes couldn't control Francis on the ground, which Stipe did despite being... Yeah, I don't know how much of Curtis's real game plan was to... Like, I think Stipe went so out of his way to make sure that fight was on the floor. I don't think Curtis went into it with the same amount of respect that Stipe went in, to having a sensible game plan. Although you are right. That's just my opinion, though. Bro, Curtis Mayne isn't as good as Daniel Cormier. Absolutely. Oh, I think you guys are chatting amongst yourself. Who is Till going to fight next?
Ooh.
I want him to fight Dalby.
Yeah, what?
A rematch against Nicholas Dalby. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose it doesn't really make too much sense. But
I think for Till, next fight, I mean...
Till's off
maybe-
a loss with
yeah.
Robert Whittaker as well.
Just thinking of the middleweight division.
There's some good guys in the middleweight.
He could
Kevin-
fight the loser of Manson Holland.
Yeah. I can see him if Leon, well, it's not the right.
Or where if Hamzat beats Leon at welterweight, obviously he's fought in middleweight as well, and there was a bit of back and forth talk between Till and Hamzat at one point, wasn't there? So
Yeah, wasn't there?
He
I forgot
could
about
fight
that.
him at middleweight. Hamzat against Darren Till. But again,
I think Till needs to win a fight before he plays with anybody up there.
Yeah.
I think he needs maybe a good up and comer, even a Kevin Holland would have been
Yeah.
more ideal for Till, because it's a good test for Izzy as well. That kind of style of fighting. Although you heard it here first. Israel Adesanya against Darren Till will not be a fun fight.
Nah, I can see it being.
It will be
It'd be quite
It would be like Wonder Boy
Mm.
against Darren Till.
just touching quite a lot.
It'd be a chess match
Yeah.
of kickboxing, and I'm sure a few people would like to see that. But in terms of it being a Israel Adesanya against Kelvin Gastelum style fight,
But then if you're just talking
ain't
about
happening.
any other middleweights, like Cannoniers just come off a loss, that could be Till against
Yeah.
Cannonier.
That could be good. Till versus Cannonier would be a good shout, because they've both lost
Yeah.
to Robert Whittaker. That makes sense. Till versus Cannonier. Yeah. Till versus Cannonier. Or Till versus Kevin Holland. But obviously that's... Kevin Holland fight can't happen because he's fighting Jack Hermansson. But yeah. What do you guys think to Israel versus Darren Till? Because I do not think that's a fun fight.
The thing is, I think Izzy's got his eyes set on the
Devin
light
Clark
heavyweight
does
now.
have a lot of potential, you're right.
Um,
When is Ryan Hall going to get a fight? Mate, I know. Do you know what? If you want to see something cool with Ryan Hall, check out him on the podcast with Lex Friedman. I don't know if you guys watch that podcast, but Lex is that weird nerdy dude that's occasionally on Rogan, and he wears a suit, black suit always, white shirt and a skinny black tie like a mod or something would wear, or some kind of mafia guy, but mixed with a nerd. It's pretty cool though. He's got some cool podcasts.
Yeah, he's nice. He's good to listen to.
Yeah, I like his subject matter a lot as well. Like a lot about consciousness, space, all of those types of things.
I was just looking from OK. Rosenstruik versus Lewis. Who do you think wins that?
Rosenstruik.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'd say the same. They've both got that last second.
Yeah.
Could just be both like
I don't think
standing
that-
fumbling around until like the last 10 seconds, and one of them lets loose a massive punch.
Defo. I think that's the type of fight that I'd be willing to bet doesn't go further than a round. A Rosenstruik against a Lewis. For sure. What other questions have you got? Lewis has better cardio than Curtis. That's debatable. Yeah. Bank. I think Smith beats Clark. I'd like to see. Yeah. I can see him taking this tactically like a veteran, like managing his range, being really careful. But Smith is like that. He's quite a careful guy anyway.
He kind of holds back, but sometimes holds back for a bit too long, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
And lets the fight kind of overtake him.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I've thought in his last two fights anyway. It's just...
I don't think Devin will wait for anything.
No. Especially if he's got a point to prove. He's coming off 2 wins. He's got that momentum. He's got that like mental... just that positive mindset going into the fight, I think. But yeah, we'll see. Anything can happen, as always.
Yeah, for sure, man. Is this podcast only on YouTube? It is only on YouTube for the meantime. We'll see if anyone even enjoys it before we put it anywhere else. I think that takes the most out of the card. That's for sure. So, what have we got coming up this week exactly? What are our plans? Is anyone shall we talk about how
Fight week pans out?
Yeah, but like how strict it is as well.
Yeah.
From a good perspective.
Well,
like,
there's no...
could read out.
I think, for a long time now, there's been no open workouts, which is usually something I enjoy going to.
Yeah, man, the open workouts are sick. Sad that they're not around at the moment. It's a good time to get a lot of like very different kind of hitters.
Yeah. So we've got to get a COVID test tomorrow.
So this right here is secret UFC information. And it basically details a lot of what we've got to do in order to even attend the weigh-ins and the events. So, required testing for the media. You must complete 1 COVID-19 test for the week. Please see below for testing information based on each day's activity. All COVID-19 testing for the media will be conducted at beep, 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 beep. If you are planning to attend the weigh-ins, you will need to take a COVID test either Wednesday or Thursday. Testing will be available from 1 to 5. No appointment is necessary. And it looks like we're getting a lot of UK squad.
Thanks, Main Team.
You
Mutt,
must.
by the way. Something new we're trying, so glad you like it.
So there's going to be limited space inside the Apex with overflow available in the media tent where a live feed of the weighings will be shown. So I think that's where we'll be anyway, maybe. Who knows? I'm not sure. Hopefully we'll be actually in the room next to the overflow room.
Mm-hmm.
Overflow room ain't the worst place in the world, but for visual purposes, if someone's weighing in, we want to be in the goddamn room.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. We'll see what we can do about that. And then we'll be coming to you from 4 p.m. on Vegas time, live from the media tent on fight day. We'll try and get some more people to come by and sit down and have a chat with us. A couple of guys maybe from from the media.
Yeah.
Oscar,
Oscar
Jose
from Mac Life, Jose from MMA Fighting.
Yeah, and whoever else is around that
Yeah.
wants to jump on, if they do want to jump on. It says here that on fight day, the media check said
It's
something
our
about
first event covering from the Apex as well.
It
So that
is,
would be pretty
ain't it?
cool, yeah.
This is our first Apex
Yeah,
event.
we've been to the Apex a few times, but we've not actually covered an event there, so it'll be pretty cool to be there and cover the event there for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Winners of each bout will be brought to the tent for interviews. There will be no access inside the Apex for those media credentialed for the media tent. So fingers crossed we've got okay. We
Yeah.
definitely ain't. But it doesn't matter, actually, to be quite frank, because we're going to be talking to you guys, and we'll just watch it from the media room. It's better anyway, because then the fighters come in after all their wins, and you can hear from them as well as us.
Just a quick question from OK again. Which UK prospect do you think has a champ potential? Oh. UK prospect. Jack Shaw?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the one. He's the first guy came to my mind anyway.
Yeah, it was mine, and I was like, wait, England? UK?
Oh yeah, UK, Welsh, Wales,
Yeah.
still UK. But yeah, Jack Shaw, I think anyway.
Yeah, Jack Shaw for sure. Do you know what? I actually quite rate Darren Stewart after his fight with Kevin Holland, man.
Yeah.
That surprised me a lot. Darren Stewart's good, man, and I've always liked him. But I just didn't know if he had that level of fight in him. And he does.
Mm-hmm.
One sec.
Yeah, so yeah, Jack Shaw, I think. Leon Edwards, if he gets past Hamzat, that's not a bad shout either, to be fair, because if he does beat Hamzat, then he's definitely proved a point. And Hamzat's got so much momentum behind him. There's like a fan favourite at the minute, and he's obviously just shown his mad ability in his first 3 fights. So yeah, if Leon does beat Hamzat, then yeah, for sure, I definitely think he's got a shot.
I always remember Hamzat fighting Reece McKee, second ever fight in the UFC, the one where he stayed at Fight Island. And at the weigh-ins, I just remember because I'd never seen anything like it. And the reaction from Reece as well. Like, he just walked up to him. Just when the fighters are standing getting their pictures, like after they've faced off, doing their arm raise, Hamzat just walked behind him and he just picked him up. Brad put his arms around his waist and just picked him up in the air. Yeah.
What was that at?
That was at the weigh-ins.
Really?
Yeah. And Reece didn't do anything. He was just like, I just thought, man, that set the tone for the fight. And literally, what does he do? Like, Hamzat's got this thing. You'll notice if you go back and watch his other fights and watch his fight against Leon, because he'll do it against Leon. Watch. He'll walk up to him. He'll pick him up. And then he'll look where his corner is. And he'll walk to that fence. And he'll drop him like a cat that comes home and brings like a dead fucking bird into your house. Like, there you go. That's literally what Hamzat is doing is like he's picking it. He did it against Reese McKee. I don't think he did it. No, he did. He did it with John Phillips.
Yeah.
He
just sparked
KO'd,
out.
yeah, but he's done it. I seen he posted on Instagram. Hamzat did, and he was doing. This was a fight in Brave or before Brave, and he picked him up. He just walks across the octagon and just drops him in front of his corner team, just so that his corner's there, and if he needs assistance, he's got it. I think that's really cool, proper smart as well.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I don't know about Leon Hamzat. It's a tough one.
For who?
No, I mean tough one to
pick.
Yeah, to pick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. It is a tough one to pick, to be fair, because instantly I want to say Hamzat, but then I'm like, wait, but it's Leon. Surely Leon's not going to let him do that. But who can stop someone picking you up and take, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how you think you can stop that.
Stay away from him.
Yeah, you've got to manage range and just pick him off. But then you've seen, like, Hamzat can paint you into a corner.
Yeah.
He can, like, lock you into the corner of the octagon and just boom, one power knockout.
I think probably like Leon's footwork and his movements probably a lot better than Mershat's is. So I don't think it would be as easy for him to get painted into a corner. But like you said,
True.
Hamzat's definitely got the ability to do that to someone. So
yeah, I think we're gonna see, like, Leon's got good grappling. He does. And you've seen him survive and win lose a decision, but survive 3 rounds with Kamaru Usman, who's best in the world at that. So we'll see what will happen, but it's probably either. Do you know what? I actually think Hamzat's gonna win, and it's gonna be win by finish. I don't want to see that because I feel so bad for Leon, but I kind of want this to be like a fight. I want this to be a fight where, like, both fighters win.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, where you're just after you're just like Zhang Wei Li and Ioane and Jacek.
yeah. It's like no, someone had to be a winner, but like.
Well, they didn't have to be. They could have been a draw.
Yeah, it could have been, but
I would have been okay with that being a draw. But both fighters come out like champs. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to see something like that, because I think if someone's going to win, it's probably going to be Hamzat, especially because of the experience. Not the experience, but the consistency of fights. Do you know what I mean? Leon hasn't had a fight for ages. Hamzat's had 3 in, like, short space of time. He's going to be used to the no crowd. He's cornered people in that similar or the exact same atmosphere that he's fighting in. Like, he is only used to quarantined fights in the UFC, where this is going to be Leon's first one. I think we might, like, it's all going to be down to those early rounds, isn't it?
I think as well, like, just from listening to Hamzat speak and like his persona, he just seems so sure that he's gonna beat everyone and he's gonna be champ. And I know every fight, you know.
No, I know what you're saying.
But he's like one of them people that you just listen to and look at, and you can't really say that he's not. You know what I mean? He's got that coldness about him that he's just like, I'm gonna win, smash.
Yeah. Smash. He talks like so quiet as well.
Yeah.
Yes, brother. Yes, brother.
It's like calm before the storm.
Smash him, brother. It doesn't matter to me, brother. I just smash. Just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you were filming.
Yeah, I was filming. Dan did an interview with him whilst we were out at Fire Island, and I was filming not from that far away, really, enough so I could pick up Dan pretty well. But His volume of his voice was just so quiet, like really quiet like this.
It's quieter than that. You could hear like dishes being
yeah.
cleaned ladder in the
Ask
background.
what the table order was, like 10 yards away, but you couldn't hear Hamzat.
Yeah. He's loving it though. That's one cool thing I noticed about Hamzat is like this whole newfound fame and being a celebrity. Like he's loving it. He's loving it.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
Just I remember him saying something about like people asking for pictures and him being like, this is my favorite thing, and he just wants to be noticed, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think if you're that kind of person that can take that on board and enjoy it and really like it, then you are going to be successful. You know what I mean? Someone who doesn't like the attention and the fame, I think can discourage people.
Yeah. Well, like someone like Rose Namajunas, for example, that's the kind of fighter that comes into my head that's isn't about the champ life, isn't about the fame life, but is a legit martial artist that loves to compete and is one of the best in the world. And there's a difference between that kind of mentality, the Hamzat mentality and the Rose Namajunas mentality. Both championship level fighters, but in my opinion, one's more raw than the other.
And there's obviously when you're the champion, like the pressure is on, and if you don't thrive under that kind of pressure, then
it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, it would be hard to maintain that anyway. That's why I think Figueiredo is going to be champ for a long time.
Yeah.
Because he just seems to thrive under pressure, and he's got like a savageness about him that you just don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I think he just equaled Demetrius Johnson for the most finishes in that
7,
division.
wasn't it? Yeah. 7
So
finishes.
he's already catching up
yeah.
with DJ's record. So he could be the next guy to really take away those records from DJ.
It was funny he said about Hamzat picking Reece McKeel. Now this wasn't before the fight, it was after the fight, after he beat Perez. But Figueiredo picked Perez up after he beat him, and Perez was just like tapping him on the back.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, just put me down.
Oh mate, I remember, yeah. I always think those kind of pictures on TV are just like, I can see what's happening from a psychological point of view. Like, I almost feel like a mystic in a sense. I'm watching it and I'm like, I know exactly what's happening there. There's just like, Figueiredo is so gassed right now. and he's just subbed him in the first round, that he thinks the polite thing to do, being this gassed, is to pick him up and display your kill in front of the whole arena.
Oh man.
Perez just like having to keep like a straight stature.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fucking put me down.
Yeah, I got that straight away as soon as he did it, man.
God, embarrassing.
Innit?
Funny embarrassing.
Yeah.
So, how you guys all doing? Have we bored you to sleep yet? Has everyone gone bed yet? Let's have a look. Kazmats. So,
Wonder Boy Jeff Neal. That'd be a good fight, man. I forgot about that. That's on that sick card that Edwards Hamzat is.
Yeah, that card.
We'll do another one of these.
Sheesh.
That card for sure.
Do you know what? Shall we have a little look at that card?
Yeah, go for it. I'm just gonna check something. 1 sec.
UFC. So I'm just gonna get up that whole card for you guys. So UFC Fight Night, Edwards versus Chimaev. Oh man, I've just opened that. Let me switch. So I'll end this in a sec. Okay. Right. before we go, let's look at this. Holy smokes. So we start off the main event, the main card, with Jose Aldo and Marlon Vera. Let me just zoom in on that thing. What's that looking like on it? Oh God.
Man, Marlon Moraes.
On set, guys. Just clean this up a little bit. Right. Wow. So we've got here Jose Aldo, Marlon Vera. Fucking hell.
That'd be sick.
How is this not a numbered event, man? How is that fight so far down the main event? Shit. I mean, it's probably because of the new ESPN deal, innit? Opening the main card is a pretty good spot. Wow, this one's good as well. Sakignov against Span. Marlon Moraes against Rob Font. That's going to be good, man.
That'd be good.
And then you've got Greg Hardy against Marcin Tybura.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Sick.
Tybura looked wicked in his last fight.
He did. But you know what, man? Greg gets a lot of hate. And
oh, yeah, I do like Greg.
And I don't know what to say about that, really. But separating the... Not even separating the person, you know. I've met the guy. And he is a lovely, lovable giant. And he gave me a big fat bag of bud as well. So I've definitely liked Greg Hardy. He's a cool dude. I met him at American Top Team. He's actually living in the fucking dorms at American Top Team. And we was out there and we didn't know where to get any smoke. So Greg sorted us out a right little treat. Absolute legend. But he's actually genuinely a really nice guy. You should go watch the interview from that moment where Dan sits down with Greg Hardy and they just talk. It's quite an eye-opening interview. It's on our channel, Greg Hardy meets Dan Hardy, or Dan Hardy meets Greg Hardy. But it's really good. Ever since then, I've been a really big Greg Hardy fan, and he's been doing really well. So, fair play, man. Then we've got Stephen Thompson, Wonderboy, against Jeff Neal.
If you want to check out a good interview as well, Veronica did one with Jeff Neal a couple of weeks ago, which V and... Oh, no, it was, sorry.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't Neal. It was Mazzany.
Yeah.
Apologies. Wrong guy. But there'll be great fight nonetheless. Jeff Neal and Stephen Thompson.
And then we got Leon Edwards and Hamzat. Damn. Shall we have a look at the prelims? Because I think the prelims are going to be... yeah. Oh, mate. Okay, so we got Rick Glenn, Colton Maness. That's a decent fight. I like Colton Maness. Tafon Nchukwi, I think that's how you say his name, against Jamie Pickett. Darko Rodriguez against Aman Zahabi. Sijara Eubanks against Hani Kanzad. That should be good. I sat down with Sijara Eubanks out in Fight Island and did a fighter psyche with her. It was really cool. We sat down and spoke about like the old Tough experiences that she had, some funny moments from Tough. When we were out in Fight Island, the first time I met her, she was just coming off a jet ski that she had crashed on a desert island, and she fucked up her face more than when she's been in any fight.
Yeah, it looked like she'd been in a fight, hadn't it?
It did. Like, it literally looked like she was down cornering Caitlin Chikugian for her fight with Andrade, yeah, when she lost via body shot. I thought Caitlin Could you?
She fought last weekend.
Oh,
She
yeah, of course
beat,
she did, yeah.
Cynthia.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. The Sijara is, she's cool, man, and she's a beast. She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu as well. Loves the gi, absolutely loves the gi, but can also brawl like anybody's business. That's one to watch out.
A lot of people were doing that though at Fight Island, crashing the jet skis, weren't they?
Yeah, Brandon
Hamzat
Roy.
did it, didn't he, as well?
I don't know about Hamzat.
Yeah,
but-
and there was a video on his Instagram where he like beached it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. I didn't see that. I only saw Sijara Eubanks because she was cut up like mad.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were crashing jet skis at Fight Island.
Yeah. There's at
We
least
didn't
3 or
though,
4
'cause-
people. So let's have a look at this one. So we got top one here is Darren Wynn against Antonio Arroyo. I can't pronounce these words. I can't pronounce these dudes.
Oreo.
Oreo, yeah, Oreo. Darren Wynn against Antonio Arroyo. Can't say it. Don't know about Darren Wynn, man. Obviously trains in like a legit place with absolute killers. You know, Khabib, DC, all of those boys. But yet to see an impressive anything in a competition from him, really. Fought Darren Stewart, and that was meh. Darren got the win as well.
Maybe
he
he's
did well.
at the wrong weight class.
Maybe.
Could drop down to welterweight, maybe.
Yeah, he's a stocky dude, man, and
Yeah.
he's short as hell. Got Belal Mohammed against Diego Lima. That'll be good. That'll be really good. I think Belal is looking to impress as well. Pantoja against Cape.
Oh yeah.
Man, Pantoja is phenomenal. Absolute phenomenal athlete. And Michael Piera.
Oh man.
We all know Michael Piera. Jesus, he knocked out Danny Hot Chocolate. What's his face? Man, that was a crazy knockout.
Yeah, he's
Dancing all over the place.
entertaining fight. That would be at least anyway.
Has he lost? Has he lost yet in UFC?
I think
I
lost
think he
decision?
did. Didn't
I don't think
Feel
he's
like
been
he got
finished.
he? Did he not? What
I
are
think
you
so.
lads saying? Sorry about that sniffle.
Pereira. How do you spell Pereira?
Arroyo. Oh yeah. Cheers, bro. Arroyo. Yeah, those prelims are Bellator main card.
Can't find. How do you spell Pereira?
So I'll do it, mate.
Yeah, I don't think he's been finished. I can't remember him.
Oh yeah. Did he lose against Diego Sanchez? That's it.
Disqualification.
Shit, what did he do again? Oh yeah,
Was
the
it
knee.
knee? Yeah, when he was
rem-
grounded.
Yeah, remember
Yeah.
that now.
So yeah, he's not. Is that his only loss
TKO.
then?
He lost decision against Tristan Connolly.
Oh, Connolly.
Oh yeah, that Tristan Connolly was pretty fucking scrappy dude.
But yeah, no, Pereira's not been finished.
No, he's not. Damn. Well, I think
Colin Williams is 11-1. Be a
yeah,
good
Sanchez
fight anyway.
was an illegal knee, right? I think that's it so far. I think we can end it
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It's been good, man.
It has
The
been
first
good.
podcast.
Hope it's not been too boring.
Yeah, hope people have enjoyed it.
I think we'll try and make it a little bit more fun next time. I don't know how, but we'll. This is our first one. Like everything, they'll always get better.
And we'll try and bring in guests as well
Yes.
when we can.
We'll try and
whether
get in some
that's-
fighters.
Yeah, some fighters.
Even on
Maybe some media guys, coaches or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, And if anyone has any cool ideas of who they'd want to hear us talk to, then let us know as well.
And we'll get it sorted out, because we can do that. So let us know. But I think it would be cool to get Dolby in one as well. Skype Dolby. Speak to him about what it was like coming out to Vegas. We'll start with some people we know, and then branch out to the...
for sure.
We could try and get Leon on as well at some point. That'd be good. Leon Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Before the fight with Hamzat. John Morgan, sure. Why not? Henry Hoof. Yeah. These are all people we'll be more than happy to...
Definitely.
To do. And they're not too hard to get a hold of either. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. We'll try and do these weekly.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe every Tuesday night like this while we're here. We'll bring you a little podcast and a little bit of a look into the card and look at some stats and chat some shit about them.
Mm-hmm. But we'll be doing this, when we get back as well from Vegas, back in the UK. So Dan will probably join us on one, and loads of people back there as well to talk to. So
for sure. Right, I am gonna go roll a legal fatty, because it's legal here, ain't it?
Yep.
So I'll find my dispensary bag and knock myself out. But thank you, everybody. In all seriousness, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
Like I said, man, we're just rolling with the punches out here, just trying to do what we can off the top of our heads, and this was one of the ideas. But I enjoyed it, man. I genuinely enjoyed it.
Yeah, same.
It's
I have
pretty
as well.
fun.
It's been good.
But they'll get better, as I say, each time. We'll come at you with some more stories, some more McGregor stories. I tell you, who's got some good McGregor stories? Prince, Mark Goddard. And we've just put that video up on Full Reptile. If you go to our videos, it's like the second video.
Yeah.
Third video, Mark Goddard talking about McGregor. Genuinely, it's pretty fucking cool video. It's got a lot of fight footage in as well. It looks at his history fighting at the MGM Grand.
Yeah.
Some of just the historical shit coming from that venue, and Mark getting emotional, and it's a cool video, man. And if you like McGregor, check that out. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much once again. Love you all. Appreciate all the support, good or bad. Love it all. And we'll see you on weigh-ins for live streaming just like this, but with weigh-ins. Nice one, boys and girls.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
In a bit.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you once again. Love you all. Appreciate all the support, good or bad. Love it all. And we'll see you on weigh-ins for live streaming just like this, but with weigh-ins. Nice one, boys and girls.
Yeah. Take care.